Hello everybody and welcome to Civ House. I'm Rob. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new civilization for the Exploration Age, the Republic of Pirates. One of the more anticipated civs, at least in my opinion, that I can remember in quite some time. I'm really interested to see how they're going to play, especially with the look that we got at Mr. Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, yesterday. They're going to continue to come out with these over the next few days, so if you don't want to miss out on any of the news, any analysis of Civilization 7, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments section below, is this a civilization that you are going to potentially pick during your path? Yeah, I mean, let's just get into it here. So we've got the, the image, the background image that they have probably is going to be completely honestly in the thumbnail for this, but let's get into it here. So add the Republic of Pirates civilization to your collection for the Exploration Age in Civ Meyer Civilization 7. The content is available as a part of the Tides of Power collection, which features 2 leaders, 4 civilizations, and 4 wonders. Where there is wealth, there is greed. The scramble for new world riches in the early 18th century brought English, Spanish, French, and Dutch fleets, but the prospect of quick riches also brought pirates. These were rarely organized, but in 1706, one band, the Flying Gang, took over the island of New Providence in the Bahamas and set up a short-lived republic for all who sought fortune, and came with a few scruples. So, look, I'm going to start off before we even get into the stats and how this civilization is going to work. I'm just going to talk about the fact that, like, this opens the door. And what Civilization 7 has done with the changing of leaders, the changing of, civs, the way that they're doing all of this, at least to me, right, very much, opens that the potentially Pandora's box of different civilizations that we could have. I mean, this one realistically was a very, very small civ, one that lasted for maybe a year or two. Like, the English Empire came down hard on this one, and I've actually, funny enough, there's like a really good Netflix documentary that actually talks a little bit about pirates and a little bit more just basic information on what happened, and it did seem like they were trying to kind of set their own thing up, but I love the fact that, like, in this game now, with civilizations just kind of being a little bit more open, things like the Republic of Pirates becomes available to us, and I just freaking love it. So let's get into the unique ability. The Flying Gang. Increased yields from pillaging and coastal raiding with naval units. Settler units cannot be trained or purchased, but you can capture other civilization settlers. Naval units, treasure convoys, and buccaneer units can move into other civilizations' borders without being at war or having open borders. So, okay, let's talk about this one. So, the pillaging and coastal raiding, like, this works with, update 1.3.0, obviously. Again, it looks very, very likely that this is going to work completely fine with Mr. Teach. Along with this, what is interesting is that settler units cannot be trained or purchased, but we can capture other civilizations' settlers. Now, this is something that we did not have the ability to do, obviously, before. You would just knock the units out. So this is a huge change, and one that I think is going to make it really interesting, because you're going to have to hope that you're catching settlers essentially on their way to, the new lands and everything like that, right? Either that, or I guess the Republic of Pirates are going to have a much better military than you would have expected, at least land military, because you'll be needing to basically wait outside of cities, see when a settler arrives, and grab it. What is going to be helpful, though, is that these naval units, the convoys, the buccaneers, being able to move in and out of borders without having them and without war. Again, I mean, you can do surprise wars on just about anybody if you're playing as Edward Teach and the Republic of Pirates. So absolutely love that addition. I mean, it really feels very unique in something. I know that it's a little bit like what we've seen with different raiders and stuff like that with Vikings in the past, but This one feels a little bit different, especially within the confines of Civilization 7, and I love it. This one's economic militaristic, just like Mr. Blackbeard. I don't know why I keep calling him Mr., showing him, I guess, a sign of respect. I have no idea. But let's look at the Civic tree here. Articles of Agreement unlocks the Naval Station Unique building, unlocks the Press Gang's Tradition. So the Naval Station Unique building, I guess we'll get a look at here in a bit. The increased production, so the Press Gangs increased production by a set percentage towards naval units for every fleet commander that you have. I'll be interested to see exactly what that percentage is, because I thought they were taking out some percentages and making it more of a, you know, base number. So very intrigued by that. And then you have the fleet commanders. That's going to be interesting as well. I mean, you really are going to have to rule the high seas. I mean, this is going to be very, very, very incredibly strong. This is the last time I'll say it, but this is going to be incredibly strong with Blackbeard. And then the tier 2 is that Buccaneers gain the looting promotion, which is cool. That's the unique, one of the unique units down here. Wait, the Naval Station Unique building, that's already in the game, isn't it? No, it's not. Okay, I thought so. I was like, wait, why am I not seeing this down here? But we're good, we're good. Okay, Ports of Call unlocks the Naval Arsenal Unique building, unlocks the Merry Life and a Short One Tradition. So a Merry Life and a Short One is receive gold equal to the unit's production cost every time you defeat a support unit specifically. Okay, so you are really raiding people. You are trying to get around those military units, and then receive gold equal to a set percentage, again percentage, right, of the unit's production cost every time you defeat a naval unit. Just kidding. You're just basically going after, like, you are constantly going to be at war to fund not only your economy, but the way that your civilization is going to go. And that's why it's going to work. I said I wasn't going to say it again, but like the ability to be able to defeat units and not directly be at war is going to be extremely important with this one. The problem is really going to come down to, can you defend your cities? This may be a civilization where you don't want too many different settlements. Not a ton of them. And you're going to want everything on the water. Going like inland at all feels like a total waste. Increased settlement limit in the tier 2 unlocks the Havana Harbor Wonder, which is cool. The Buccaneer Unique Commander units gain a charge to create a new settlement. Wow. You are definitely going to want to rush. This is one of the best tier 2s that I can really remember. There are a lot of good ones, but this is insanely strong. The Wonder's fine, but being able to, you know, because like you can't do it naturally, so being able to do that, you may want to rush that. You may want to rush it. Enemy of All Nations, increased combat strength against treasure convoys, unlocks the Black Flag Tradition, which is an increased gold from plundering trade routes by a set percentage. Again, I'm shocked that they're not doing the base numbers on these, but that's okay. When you capture a treasure fleet unit, it is worth an additional treasure fleet point. That's really cool too. Dude, you are going to get economic victory, like legacy path, like just instantly with this civilization. It is incredibly strong, it feels like. But the thing is, you're like, unless if you're doing like a start right in exploration, your antiquity age is gonna have to be very good. You're going to have a lot of things really set up to allow for this civ to then go out into the oceans and just dominate the game. If you have a weaker one, it will make this a little bit harder, is the way that it is feeling, at least to me. Unique infrastructure. The Haven is a unique quarter, increased gold for every treasure resource. That's really nice. Friendly naval units and your naval units received increased healing on this tile. So, especially if you're doing multiplayer, that will really be helpful. Like, this is going to make naval warfare, just all of this, I think is going to make it so much more fun. I mean, it is going to truly become a battleground, especially when you see the civ. Like, if you don't get to see this civ until, like, until they're in the new lands, right? Like, that's going to be crazy, because then you're going to just have to do your best to try to keep their units under wraps as much as possible, or you're just going to end up wanting to become friends with them and kind of just putz your way through the exploration age and just go to like straight through to modern and then go and take everything else out. So yeah. Again, unless if Blackbeard is involved, then it won't really matter what age it's in. But anyways, the naval arsenal is a unique building. It must be built on a coastal tile. No surprises there. Gold base, gold adjacency with resources, has no gold maintenance. That's actually insane, especially with like units and everything getting so much more maintenance costs. That's crazy. And then the naval station, coastal tile, production based, gain production adjacency bonus with military buildings and gold buildings. Guys, this is definitely going to be a Civ I'm going to play. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Like, this is right up my alley, and it'll be probably the first one to actually make me care at all, really, about naval combat. This is cool. The Buccaneer, a unique commander unit, gains a set number of charges to use the raiding party action every set number of promotions. Target an adjacent treasure resource. This settlement instantly spawns a treasure convoy under your control equal to the number of treasure resources. This does not reset until another treasure convoy is available. So not only are you going to be stealing everybody else's treasure resources, but then you can just spawn treasure convoys all on your own, and you'll have a huge fleet to just kind of convoy their way to protect them the entire way. Like, I love it. What I love so much is when civilizations just work, like, mesh well within what they're supposed to do. All the interweavings of this one are working so well together. Huge fan. The sloop, unique naval unit, replaces the privateer, so there you go. Can cross into other civilizations' borders, pillage trade routes between non-allied civs, and, okay, that's a big deal, so you can't do it to allied civilizations. Okay, and attack units of non-allied civilizations without going to war. Can move after attacking and has a set amount of movement. What I will say is that this sloop allows you to do a lot of what you would want to do, even if you aren't Blackbeard. So, opposite of what I was saying before, you still can do this. Dude, I mean, like, the Exploration Age is really going to be, like, piracy is going to be, I think, the name of the game for Exploration Age. It is going to be, like, very much, which I think is what they intended the Exploration Age to be initially, which was very much about naval travel and its ability, and what it does to the world, right? This is going to change it fundamentally. If you are going for an economic victory at all, even a little bit, you are going to have some of these units, in my mind. They're very, very important. And then we have the Havana Harbor here, is a gold base. The settlement generates treasure convoys worth a set amount of treasure fleet points in the Exploration Age. An increased economic attribute must be built in the distant lands on coastal tiles adjacent to non-lake tiles. Obviously, a coastal starting bias. Now, look, I think we're getting the Tonga as well, if I remember correctly with this one. So we'll have to see how this feels. But, like, this not only feels like a great Civ, but a really fun one. Now, you are going to struggle with things like happiness, potentially with food, things like that, depending on how big you can build your Civ. Like, this is very much like you are going to build. I mean, you see all the units here, right? You're going to build as many freaking naval units as possible, and you are going to make sure that your convoys are the ones that are protected, that are being established, all that jazz. There's not a lot of culture. There's not a lot of science here. So, getting to and picking, I think, which civics you're going to go to, how science is going to work for you, you're going to have to be very intentional about what you're going to do with that if you're playing as this civilization. That's obviously its cons. But the pros, I mean, really and truly, if you get a very good start in antiquity and you already have some boats, you have some money, right? Like some naval units, sorry, I just called them all boats, but, naval units, you can transition straight into being an, like, enormous power as the Pirate Republic. And I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to make it happen with the harbor coming in as like a warehouse, building as well. Like, this is going to be just like, pardon my French, I guess, if you want to call it, but like balls to the walls, like in your face piracy. And I'm ecstatic to see how it's all going to work out. I can't wait to see how they're going to look on the map. this is going to be a lot of fun, and having it as like an official Civ again, it's going to open things up for maybe even like they called in the video, you know, Blackbeard as this mythical entity, right? Like, could we get something in the future like King Arthur, stuff like that? Like, this is extremely fun, and I'm interested to see how it works. On the flip side, it is also going to be extremely overpowered. So, at least in my opinion, it's going to feel very, very strong. Maybe not overpowered, but very strong. So, for multiplayer people, yeah, this may be a ban for you. This may be something that you're like, hey, like nobody can use this. We will have to see it in game, see how the mechanics work with it, but definitely some strong stuff. And we'll have to see again how some of the other civs and everything else that are going to be getting added to the game feels as well. But especially for a free update, this is exciting. This is fun. We'll see, you know, how the rest of Civ goes. You know, we're in that feature workshop. I've seen your guys' comments giving us some suggestions. I will make sure to bring those up in whatever capacity that is going to be available to me next year. But this is a really another good step in the right direction in my mind, but I highly anticipate that there will be nerfs coming to this civilization sometime in the future. So let me know if you guys feel differently. Let me know if you think that I'm completely wrong. Again, this is I think an exciting time. I love when there's new content. It's my favorite time to theorycraft, explore, and discuss with you guys. So being able to see all your comments and discuss this all with you guys is fantastic. So we appreciate it as always. But that is going to wrap it up for us on this one. So from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and we hope you'll join us for one more turn.